Hey guys, I'm here with Sean from Hello Games. You know them from Joe Danger, but they just released a trailer for something very, very, very different than Joe Danger. What I like about you guys, Sean, is it feels like you guys are always biting off more than you can chew. Because when you guys did Joe Danger, it was four of you.
Right.
Hanging out in a house.
Yeah.
Mostly on a webcam, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Making Joe Danger, which from the outside, I would imagine looks very simple, but you guys were messing with a lot of physics systems, you were messing with a lot of toolkits, and you were also messing with character, making courses and tracks and sharing them.
Right.
Which is normally something somebody like a media molecule would do.
I think at the time, people thought it was a lot for four people, right? Like this was before, things like Unity and stuff like that, which had really empowered indies, and we were just kind of doing all our own stuff. So it was the kind of earlier days of indies, I guess.
So, but now you guys were like, obviously you have Unity and you have tools now, so you're like, well, we'll just build a universe procedurally.
Well, we actually, we do that, but we don't use any tools or anything. We do everything ourselves, right? Just to make it a little bit harder.
So, I mean, let's talk about No Man's Sky, because this gets released, the trailer was released during the VGXs, and it opens by telling you that every atom of this thing is procedural. And I think we're used to maybe sort of a Molyneux-style Fable presentation, right? Where we're told that we're going to cut down a tree and start a logging industry, or we're going to cut a kid in the face and he'll chase us down. But it didn't really turn out procedural. So when you say that these things, this planet, this universe is procedural, what does that mean, really?
I'm super happy to be compared to Molyneux. I can live with that, right? What does it mean? Yeah, I mean, it is true. In some ways, what I was saying to you, to people looking at the trailer is actually, what we're used to seeing in games is fake, right? And in some ways, this is really real. So the clouds in the sky are there because of weather, right? Okay. A really strange thing. They're not there because an artist has drawn them in, and they are real and they have volume and things like that.
Well, one thing I thought was interesting is as you were going through the water in the trailer, it was telling you the chemical composition of the water, and so how much does that really factor in? Like how complex are these planets? What's the rule set here?
The rule set is actually weirdly kind of simple, right? And mimics some of the rules that we have in our universe, right? It's, I guess, we model things at a kind of an atomic level in a weird way, right? In terms of, water kind of begets life, right? And you need those things to have an atmosphere, to have clouds, to, kind of produce those systems, right? And when we bring together a series of those actually reasonably simple systems, they produce something that's really complex.
So this is cool. So obviously, the most interesting thing that people take away from the trailer is, of course, oh my gosh, this beach is procedural. I'm gonna fly to this star, and then that star is gonna have a solar system. But since the best science fiction really is kind of based around experiences, right? Tell me a little bit about the gameplay. Tell me what I'm doing here. I love that I'm flying around a procedural universe, but when I get there, why am I there?
So experiences is a really good word, right? I think experiences is something that we don't do very well in video games, in terms of more and more we're making games that feel like a camera on rails, right? When I play a shooter, that's more and more how I feel like I'm trapped in somebody else's movie, right? And I can't get out of it, right? And I can't do things my own way, and that's the kind of game that we want to create, is something that has true experiences, and the things that you do feel meaningful, right? This is, much like our universe, I guess, adversarial, right? It's a dangerous place to be. Like science fiction, it is the frontier. This isn't some, we don't show a lot of gameplay in the trailer. It is just a teaser, but this isn't some passive ambient experience where you just explore, and it isn't some utopia necessarily, though there are places like that, right? This is a dangerous world, right? It is a world that has, rules and complexity that you need to understand in order to just survive. And we don't want to tell people how to play the game. They can play it whatever way they want. I think a common goal that people will have and a common journey that they will take on. Much the same as in like a roguelike, you will try to journey to the deepest level of the dungeon, right? For us, that the equivalent would be journeying to the center of the universe, right? And you start out, as everyone does, on the outside belt of that universe. Everyone starts in a different place. And their, I guess, goal or aim might be to try and make their way to the center. As you travel further and further towards that dark matter at the center, you encounter worlds that are a lot more mutated, a lot more dangerous, a lot more malevolent. And that is kind of a natural structure that just forms in our game. Right?
So another nuts and bolts question that's probably going to make you furrow your brow at me. You guys, with Joe Danger, you did a lot of sharing, you did a lot of cooperation with friends and things like that. Are there plans for like, dude, my universe is really cool.
Right.
Can I share my universe? Whether I send it to somebody, whether I have somebody join me in their ship?
So everyone that plays is playing in the same universe.
Okay.
Right? And there is persistence there of things which you do which are significant, right? Without going into loads of details and nuts and bolts, right? If you do something of significance, then it has permanence, right? And not just that, like...
So help me get my head around that then. Help me get my head around it. If it's procedural, but everybody's in the same universe, what does that mean in terms of it being procedural? Does it mean like the first person who shows up to a quadrant, the quadrant gets drawn right then for that person? Because if we're all in the same universe and it's persistent across us, like I'm just trying to wrap my head around what that means.
So we're going to have a maths lesson now. Right?
Okay.
So we design those systems, and those systems output the same result, right?
Okay.
And that result is, is a universe, right? And it will always output the same universe. So if you see a tree, then if I visit that planet, I will see that tree in that same place.
Okay.
Right. And you can get kind of philosophical about it, like you were sort of going into like a kind of a maths philosophy, like does that planet exist until you visit it? Sort of not, right?
Okay.
Until the maths has created it for the first time. Ish, right? But it's there and it will always be there, and whoever gets there first will see it first, right? And when you...
That kind of opens up an interesting, I want to get there first and carve my initials in that tree.
It's kind of worse than that, right? So when you first start playing the game, you can bring up the galactic map, right? The star map. And you can see everything. And if you were the very first player to play it, you will be able to browse that map and see every planet, every star, every system. But all of them will be marked as unknown.
Okay.
Right? If you visit any of those planets or any of those stars or whatever, and whatever you find there, you can choose to upload that information. You can choose to share it. And then that will show up on everyone's map. So if you find a hospitable planet, a habitable one, and it's got something amazing on it, you can choose to upload that, and everyone will see that, and now people can make use of that, right? If you find a space station or whatever, then people will know where that is, right? So no one person can ever even visit a fraction of this universe alone, but together, with enough players, we would like a lot of people to play the game. With enough players, perhaps you can make a dent in that and actually start to chart this universe. Now, you're not like some hero. You're not there. You are just a person in that universe.
That's the best kind of sci-fi, right? You're not a dude with a chosen destiny. You're just a guy, and every guy has ships because that's where you live, right?
I mean, I think that's the thing. It's like, if you had a ship right now, and had that ability, you would use it and enjoy it, right?
To write my name on a moon.
And to write your name on a moon and probably get into loads of trouble.
Yeah.
And tell your own stories, and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Well, cool. So, obviously, it takes a little while to bake a universe.
Right.
So more details will be forthcoming. Hopefully we'll see more soon. It looks very interesting from what we've seen.
Cool.
These are some very exciting ideas. If we want to keep up with it, where do we go keep up with you guys?
I guess nomansky.com, right? Yeah.
Yes, that sounds to me like maybe that's not even set up yet. So hopefully by the time this video comes out, nomansky.com, hellogames.co.uk, I'm
right.
sure as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. This looks really amazing.
Cool.